The largest tsunami ever recorded on Earth crashed into the icy waters of Lituya Bay, Alaska, on July 9, 1958. Triggered by a massive 7.8 magnitude earthquake that struck the Alaskan panhandle, this natural disaster is almost beyond comprehension. The earthquake dislodged an enormous chunk of rock, nearly 40 million cubic yards, 30.6 million cubic meters, from a mountainside high above the bay. This colossal mass plummeted into the water below, displacing a vast amount of water in an instant. Imagine throwing a pebble into a pond and watching the ripples spread outward. Now scale that up to the unimaginable proportions of Lituya Bay. The impact of the rockslide generated a wave of such incredible force and size that it defied belief. The tsunami reached an astonishing height of 1,720 feet, 535 meters above sea level, towering over everything in its path. To put this into perspective, if the Empire State Building had been standing at the water's edge, this monstrous wave would have surged over it with ease. Fortunately, Lituya Bay is a remote and sparsely populated area, so the human toll was relatively low. Only 3 small fishing boats were caught in the fury of the wave, and tragically, 2 people lost their lives. While the destruction was devastating to the local landscape, the isolation of the bay spared the world a much greater catastrophe. In contrast, the most destructive tsunami in recorded history, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, unleashed a level of devastation that still haunts the memories of millions. On December 26, 2004, a colossal 9.1 magnitude earthquake occurred off the coast of Sumatra, Indonesia, one of the most powerful ever recorded. The seismic shockwave rippled through the ocean, generating waves that reached staggering heights. In Indonesia's Aceh province, the waves surged up to 51 meters, 167 feet, an unimaginable wall of water that obliterated everything in its path. The tsunami's deadly waves didn't just affect nearby regions, but also reached the shores of India and Sri Lanka, over 750 miles, 1,200 kilometers away, and traveled more than 1,800 miles, 3,000 kilometers across the ocean to East Africa. The impact was nothing short of apocalyptic. Entire communities were wiped out in minutes, with some areas being erased from the map entirely. The death toll was staggering. Around 230,000 lives were lost, with the vast majority in Indonesia, Thailand, India, and Sri Lanka. The tsunami caused widespread destruction of infrastructure, homes, and livelihoods. In Indonesia alone, the estimated economic damage was around $4.5 billion, while the total cost across all affected countries soared into the tens of billions. The human suffering was immeasurable, as millions were left homeless and entire economies were crippled by the sheer scale of the disaster. The 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami remains one of the deadliest and most destructive natural disasters in human history.